Hello and welcome to today's weather and wellness update. It is May 12th, 2025, and there's still some thunder in the background. We just had this flash thunderstorm in London. I wasn't even really expecting it. I had to stop recording and take a little pause because it was so loud. We even had hail in it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some flash floods in some of the neighborhoods and tube stations around. So I'm Sheila O'Connor. I'm a holistic health coach, and on this channel, I look at how we can use weather to inform our diet and lifestyle choices so that we feel good as we're moving through our life from day to day and week to week. We feel good in our body, our mind, and our spirit. Um, and why weather? Well, do you ever wonder why sometimes you've set all the things in place for everything to go really well. You set your alarm clock, you batch cook your meals, and everything's going fine for the week. And then all of a sudden, like it's not, something really just throws everything off of balance. Well, one of the variables that we really can't control is the environment and the weather. So that's dynamic, and I don't think we often account for it. And I know here in the UK, just carry on and drink your tea and get on with it. But in reality, that those weather changes are really interacting with our bodies because it's all kind of this bio field, the atmosphere, it's all interacting together and it's changing the way that our cells function. And I talked a little bit more about that in the first video, and we'll talk more about that as we go. In today's video, we'll have a little look at a weather forecast and how to extract some of that information out of it. And we're going to look at a little bit about the drop in pressure today. We talked a little more about the solar weather, and we'll talk a little bit about the full moon as well. We're just coming off of the full moon. Now, I want to be sure to clarify that I am not a doctor. I am a health coach. This is an educational video for you to learn something about what what potential interactions you could be having with the weather. And everyone's different, and everyone's going to want to be dealing with their unique situation differently. So that is important to discuss. So let's go ahead and have a little look at let's see, we're going to share my screen. And we'll have a little look here at this weather forecast. All right, so you're sharing your screen. So here we go. This was not the same when I started preparing my recording a little while ago. All of a sudden it got really dark and I got really loud and it was raining. And so it looks like that's going to carry on for another half an hour. And you scroll down here, we can see the radar. Seems like the biggest cell that went through has already kind of dispersed. And let's see, we're going to carry on. Okay, so this is the part we're going to look at. Um, so obviously you want to look outside and see how your weather is. And the data isn't always perfect. I think there was like I don't know, really slim chance of some rain coming through. I think that there's some instability as we're making that final shift from the spring patterns to summer patterns, even though we don't really know what that's going to be here in the UK. But we'll look again at what that's going to look like in some other places too. So it is, let's see, what was the temperature? 22, feels like 22. Okay, so that is like 73 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit for those on that system. 54% humidity is right here. It's not too windy. The pressure, it's all, so then we have the moon phase is full, and that's pretty regular. So if we look at, I want to also look at the barometric pressure. Is this for London? Barometric pressure. Is this London? Sorry. There we go, London. Okay. So We had actually our pressure did drop yesterday and it kind of stayed low. So that's next 17, that is yesterday. And then now it's going up. So after this rain, we're going to have a steady progression into some higher barometric pressure. So that should feel pretty good. And then I want to look also, now I want to move over to Oklahoma City and I have family there. So I'm going to choose that. And that is a classic place in the US where there's a lot of converging weather. And the whole South is definitely going to have some weather. If you live in that region, you'll want to have a look at the barometric pressure and changes that are happening down there in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, a little bit into the Kansas and Missouri corners of that as well. So let's look at, this is Oklahoma City, 23 degrees. Feels like 23. It's gonna be warm. It's gonna get warm there later. It's gonna get into the 80s Fahrenheit, close to 30 degrees Celsius. Pretty low humidity for that region. And this is what I really want to look at. I think I can do this here. Okay. I think I can draw. I'm going to try it. Thanks for your patience. I am trying some of this stuff out. Draw. Cool. So here we go. This is the pressure. And most importantly, it's dropping. So that is something you want to pay attention to. And also, again, the full moon phase is right here. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And so let's go to the barometric pressure for Oklahoma City. Oh, I need to escape that. Stop share. That I could just switch over. I can. I'm still in this. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna stop the share. We're gonna try again. This is really exciting. I'm getting to learn how to do all these things. This time we want to look at Oklahoma City weather. Barometer. That's what we want to look at to talk about the barometer. All right. Is this it? Yes. Okay. Oklahoma City. Okay. See the so you see, here we go. This is a cool chart I like. It's got 3 days, the last 3 days, and then it shows the next 3 days that are coming up. And we have also this little legend right here. So that is really nice because we can sort of see where things are going. And this is exactly how we can use the weather to inform things for the next few days, right? So you see here, let's see, normal. So we have normal pressure. So all the way through the weekend, it looks like it was pretty comfortable over there. And I spoke with my family and they were out in the backyard. It looked like it was a nice day yesterday on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day weekend. I hope you guys all had a nice time with your families. I got some nice phone calls yesterday. And then here we are tomorrow. The it's gonna drop, and especially between Tuesday and Wednesday. It's gonna drop fast. Like actually, it's gonna go down to 996. So it's gonna go almost into the very low region. So it's gonna be really like this. So if you are like the decrease in pressure, this is where it's interacting with the pH in your body, and that can cause adjustments to your blood pressure. It can cause adjustments to your blood glucose, joint pain and stiffness, sinus congestion, fatigue. This would be a migraine or headache alert in that region for anybody who has like those tendencies. And some digestive discomfort could also come up from that fast of a pressure. So with this channel, I'm going to look at different spots in order to show you what to look for in your own region. I can't look at every spot every day. I'm going to pick the spots. I'm going to start with the place where I live and the place where I know people. And in some cases, I will also I'll start looking at other places where there's some weather patterns worth talking about um, to show on the screen. So we have in that region of the US and that kind of southern region, expect in the next 48 hours that the pressure is going to drop fast. So what can you do? That's that's why we're here, right? The best thing the best way I deal with that is because it's making your pH more basic. So you want to add more acid. And the way to do that is your apple cider vinegar drink, which you can see in the video from from Friday that I posted. And then the other way to do that would be think about foods that have a lot of vinegar in them. And I think I always like to look at what the foods are that come from the different regions that are experiencing the weather. And every region has its dishes that are really supportive of these kinds of weather patterns. And in the South specifically, that would be your barbecue sauce. Now, barbecue sauce, what's it made of? It's vinegar and honey and some other stuff, right? Ketchup, like you can use honey or molasses. It's got all the different seasonings. There's lots of different blends. Some are sweeter, some are tangier. The basic ingredients are vinegar and molasses and tomato sauce or tomato ketchup, which is also a lot of vinegar. So it's a great time to go for some kind of barbecue sauce. Now, you really want to look for some barbecue sauces that are using those actual ingredients and not flavorings, because it's the chemicals of those ingredients that are creating the balance in your body and stability in your body. You might try to. I'll post a recipe if I'll try to do that. I'm a one person show here at the moment, but I should be able to find a recipe. You could try one, or just look at the ingredients and get the most simple ingredients and give that a go for your barbecue. Some kind of a tangy slaw, that tangy citrus vinegar stuff. Anytime it's stormy and the pressure is dropping like that, it's a really good time to go for those sorts of dishes. And I think the other thing that's really important to remember across the board for all of this is that our bodies will naturally come back to balance. So we could do, we could know about these foods, and that's great, but we could also listen to our bodies, and maybe we need a little extra sleep to come back into balance. Maybe it's also just checking in with your body, like what do we need right now? Probably not a lot of sugar. I would say definitely reduce the amount of sugar and processed foods especially when the pressure's dropping, because that actually tends to make you have more insulin resistance and less ability to deal with them when the weather isn't stable like that. So then your blood actually gets thicker, and it's not, and that's, I think that the fact that your blood gets thicker, it literally is heavier, and that's one of the reasons why we maybe feel more sluggish when there's changes and disruptions in the weather like that. So that's what we have with the pressure dropping. And finally, the full moon, we're kind of past that. We'll have the effects of it for probably another day or two. You might feel a little groggy because of sleep disruptions. A lot of people, te there is a tendency to have less deep of sleep during the full moon and less melatonin in your system. So that can cause some um, mood dysregulation issues. And if you are with teachers or families, yeah, you want to know this, because why are my kids so tired, or why are they anxious or have these mood dysregulations around this time? Well, it could be because of the full moon, and like that I know that definitely is an impact on behavioral health. I studied this for the last decade, trying to find patterns to figure, just trying to understand the patterns of what to expect with these dynamic variables and that are not fixed that we can not necessarily control. I don't think we can control the weather, but we can guide ourselves and our diet and lifestyle as we're interacting with different kinds of weather. So that's our forecast for today. We're moving into a more stable summer pattern across the board. The mornings are getting warmer here. I know that in a lot of parts of like the more middle latitudes, the temperature is consistently getting warmer and warmer. It's going to get into the 80s and 90s in some parts of the US this week. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time. If you have any questions, post them in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. All right, see you next time. Bye.